Hola, ¿cómo están? Aquí estamos. We are talking to Jade Whyne today. Jade Whyne from Divas in Paradise. As we wait for her, we're going to turn on our prosperity and abundance candela. Thank you for joining as we wait for, there she is. Hi, Jade.
Hey, hi.
Hi, Jade.
Oh my God. Amazing.
Woo! I'm ready. How about you?
Yeah, let's go. Beautiful.
Thank you. You too. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Likewise.
Let me just set up here while the music is singing or going by. Be real. Take you to paradise. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining today. How are you, Jade?
Good. I'm good. Thank you for having me. Really looking forward to having this chat.
Yes, same here. You're such an exceptional woman, and I just felt like we needed to tell your story in this way. So I really appreciate that you're spending this time with us. And how is your day?
Hectic as usual, but yeah.
I bet. I don't think I ever see you not hustle. You're just hustling at every moment. So amazing.
Yeah.
Well, let me introduce you and introduce what we're doing today so that we can get started. Thank you so much again. Thank you, everybody, for joining. So Jade grew up in the UK, Jamaica, Bolivia, and Ecuador. She has worked, traveled, and volunteered across Latin America and the Caribbean. She is bilingual in English and Spanish with a little Quechua, learned from living in an indigenous community in Ecuador during part of her childhood. In 2017, Jade moved back to Jamaica, where she currently runs her business. She is passionate about women's and ethnic minority rights, responsible travel, giving back to the community, and showcasing local culture. Jade is the managing director of V2 Volunteer and Vacation, a UK registered company offering travel experiences in the Caribbean and Latin America. Under the V2 brand, she also offered a bespoke experience for women, namely called Divas in Paradise, where she hosts guests at her Soul's Oasis property. Today, we are going to talk about specifically travel and social entrepreneurship by way of highlighting Jade's work through V2 Volunteer, Soul's Oasis, and of course, Divas in Paradise. I'm excited to learn about the work Jade does on the ground, and especially going back to her roots in the Caribe, the Caribbean. We will speak on profitable businesses built from the ground up and how those businesses can create social impact in the local community. So Jade, why did you choose to go back to Jamaica? Why did you choose Jamaica, for example, over Bolivia and Ecuador? Because it sounds like, from what I remember hearing from you, you lived in Ecuador the most, correct?
Yes, yes. I lived in Ecuador. I did all my high school from 11 to 19. Yeah, so I spent the majority of my life in Ecuador.
That's amazing. So why Jamaica? What was the
Always,
purpose?
I've always had a, so although I'm sort of connected to all of the places that I've lived in, I have ancestral roots in Jamaica. So that's always been a bigger pull for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's so important. Our
Yeah.
raíces ancestrales, no? Like getting
Right.
back to our roots. That's something that we talk about a lot in Travel Latina. Like it's so important. And I'm glad that you were able to do that by way of Jamaica and how much you flourished from going back there. Like
Yeah.
it's like it was meant to be.
Yeah. 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 It's always what I wanted to do.
And how does your business work? Why wouldn't it work anywhere else, for example?
It could work anywhere else, but my business, so the main business that I have is V2 Volunteer and Vacation, and we offer volunteering and vacation experiences. So although it could work throughout Latin America, the market is pretty much oversaturated there, that side. Jamaica is just seen as sort of a vacation spot, but there's a lot more that happens on the ground, and sort of the help that Jamaica needs is often overlooked by sort of the all-inclusive resorts. So I like to offer a vacation experience that immerses and also gives back on the ground.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much. And can you speak a little bit about the social entrepreneurship aspect of your travel business?
Yeah, so social entrepreneurship it's about making money, but it's about what you choose to do with that money.
Mm-hmm.
I am for profit. I am going to live a good lifestyle, but I also choose to give back and help and support, whether it be through the businesses or the local partners that I'm connected with. But we also run summer schools, we do Christmas giveaways, and one of our projects is called the Business and Community Development Project, which volunteers come down, they're matched to a local entrepreneur, and they sort of help with their skill sets to either understand what the business is going through, assist them, whether it be business planning, I don't know, logos, designs, etc. But we also have a fund for those businesses that they can access once a year. So social entrepreneurship is about making money, but consciously giving back.
Yes, I love that. And I think it's important that to note that social entrepreneurship is about recognizing and resourcefully pursuing opportunities to create social value, which that's what you're doing with not only V2 Volunteer, but Souls Oasis and Divas in Paradise. Crafting innovative approaches to addressing critical social needs and yeah, like you said, I mean, we all have to live, right? We all, and a
Yeah,
lot of times as somebody who has worked in nonprofit, I mean, it's just such a lot, unfortunately, nonprofit world can be so scarce to the point where it's like, oh, well, it's okay, you're doing this work because you love it, and like, yeah, give up a little bit of your salary or give up. And no, we shouldn't be living in a scarcity mindset. We should be living in a, no, I'm gonna thrive and I'm gonna give back. Like
yeah,
I'm going to there's nothing wrong with wanting to live comfortably and wanting to also value yourself where you're not give to the point of burnout.
yeah,
But then having the resources to give back. So I
yeah,
love that. I love that about your model.
yeah. That's important.
So let's dive in a little bit deeper into V2 Volunteer since we're on the topic of social entrepreneurship. On your website, you state at V2 we provide unforgettable volunteer and vacation experiences in the Caribbean. Our combination of responsible travel and high impact volunteering provides an authentic and ethical service to local communities. Established in 2013, V2 has a vast knowledge and experience in the communities where we have our projects. Our extensive local connections with Jamaica and Tobago ensure that each and every one of our projects gets to the heart of what is necessary in each community. Our close-knit local partnerships foster relationships based on shared principles, collaboration, and mutual trust. This reflects our commitment to long-term sustainability, respect for the environment, and positive impact for both communities and volunteers. I love that. So tell us a little bit more about these local businesses and communities that you work with through B2 Volunteer.
So traditional business model, particularly in the context of Jamaica, where it's all about the all-inclusive or now Airbnbs, everything is connected up so that the money stays within a certain area. So what we do at V2 is we connect with communities that might have a community product or project. So say they have a waterfall local in the community, they may train up some of the guys, and they may become tour guides or lifeguards. So we go to more localized experiences. And also we work on the ground. Everything is on the ground. Everybody knows everybody.
That's awesome. I love that. And can you talk a little bit more about the summer school program that you offer?
Yeah, so every year, with the exception of the 2 years during COVID, we set up summer schools, whether it is to supplement the academic learning, but more so on the emotional support of the kids. So we develop a whole program with interns and volunteers internationally, and then we get volunteers to come down and help with the schools. So each year, depending on how many volunteers or how many people are on the ground, we would work with 1 or 2 communities, maybe 40 kids at a time. But we, as I say, we focus more on emotional well-being because kids in Jamaica, and I'm sure Latin America as well, kids are seen but not heard. So often they do not have the tools or the language to express themselves. So we work on, workshops and stuff like that with the project's called Child and Youth Development. So that's the summer schools.
I love that so much. And I just had a question pop into my head.
Yeah.
So do you ever get volunteers that don't go to even vacation at all? Like they literally are so dedicated to helping communities that, yeah, sure, they might experience the culture where they go, but not intentionally, oh, I'm going to go visit this spot or that spot. I'm just curious to know if that ever happens.
That they just want to volunteer?
Yes.
No. No, and part of the experience is to vacation and is to experience the natural beauty and everything that Jamaica has to offer. I just like or recommend that it's done in a way that gives back to the local community. So the taxi driver is not part of one of the big companies. It's just, a regular guy who has a taxi license and given an opportunity, or a community that has a beautiful waterfall or whatever the case be, or access to a beautiful beach, and they kind of set it up themselves. So yeah, I encourage you to experience the Jamaica, or whether it be Trinidad and Tobago, that draws people to the island.
Yes, of course. I think that's such a unique way to experience culture through volunteering. And yeah, at the end of the day, like bringing in foreigners, which unfortunately with the pandemic, perhaps we saw how unsustainable that can be sometimes, but it really does. The value added of foreigners coming in to volunteer and bring in their foreign money is very impactful for communities. So that's awesome. So let's move on to, how about Soul's Oasis? So this is kind of what brings all 3 of your businesses together, right? Like this is sort of like also an example of how you've experienced growth and how they've built off of each other, which I love. So really quick, on your website, it says, a creative Jamaican space. Be inspired by the tropical rhythm, vibrant culture, and natural beauty of Jamaica. Soul's Oasis is a space designed for the modern traveler seeking to explore, immerse, and create in paradise. So, you know, I had the personal experience to visit your beautiful oasis, Soul's Oasis, and that was just it was awe-inspiring. Other than being with you, you're such an empowering woman, and it's so inspiring to be around someone who has built so much and uplifts other women. But that space was so refreshing. Like, I think you remember I had a really toxic job when I came to
Yeah.
visit you. I was working from home from your space, which was thankfully, thank goodness you had great amenities for me to do that. Internet was perfect. I still had to work, even though I didn't really want to.
Yeah.
But it was such a good space for me to get out of my element, to get outside, change my scenery. I really needed that at that time with how my job was going. And I just loved the nature. Being out in nature was so refreshing. It was the plants were beautiful, and just overall I've loved how I've seen you progress from nothing on that land to what you have today. So please tell us, like, what what inspired your Soul's Oasis property, and what where are you at today?
So I inherited the land, but it was sat sort of as it was a forest for about 20, almost 25 years. So it was always in the back of my mind, even I think when I was setting up V2, which was 10 years ago. It was always in the back of my mind that I want to either move to Jamaica or somewhere else, but I want to kind of develop my own space. And I love nature. I love trees. I love plants. So I moved back. Business was doing okay. It started to, come in. And from that growth, I just put it all back into developing the property to what it is now, which has been 4 years of hard work, being sort of the contractor, learning on YouTube how everything goes, particularly being a woman. I'm sure everybody can relate. Sort of leading a project in a Caribbean island as a woman has been a challenge within itself, but just learning how to do stuff myself, like how to build a couch, how to build a table, what plants go here, what's the best, all of that. But yeah, so the space is finally, I've got one more thing or two more things to do with it. When you came in October, we were pretty much like 80% there. So now we're sort of 95.
Oh yeah, it looks amazing, and I'm so impressed by your gardening skills, and like just how beautiful the vegetation is. I can't stop highlighting how refreshing it really was to be there. Um, uh, and and 10 minutes from the beach, like the James Bond beach, which is a world famous beach. I love that it's just, I mean, it's probably less than 10 minutes to walk
Yeah.
there. I love how there's no tourists because it's a local beach. Only locals go there, but even then it's like barely any locals go to this beach. So pretty much have this beach to yourself. The water is almost turquoise. I love that. And yeah, just the opportunity to spend time with you, like, and see again, like I've seen your journey of, I just love how you went from building V2 volunteer and vacation. That helped you not only give back to the community, which was number one, but number two, begin to build Soul's Oasis and this property that you're building up. And now you house volunteers on your property when they come. You house non-volunteers who are just vacationing like an Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
And it just keeps growing. And now the most recent additions, I believe you said, or you have showed, was the bar, which
Yeah.
it was starting to be built when I saw you. now it's finished. It's like a
Yeah.
bar and a like a little restaurant
Yeah.
to serve outside though, right?
Yes, so it is a bar and a restaurant, as you said, but also a co-working space.
Yeah,
So if you need to work remotely, you can work up at the bar every day.
I love that. And so now there's internet in that area. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no, there was
yeah,
internet when I was there in that area too.
yeah.
And then also a really cute little pond, right? That's another
I've
addition.
done that. That took a while just because nobody wanted to prioritize it. So I pretty much did that myself. So let's see how
Wow,
long.
look at you. You're building furniture on your property, gardening. Like, I'm just amazed. I'm so amazed. I'm so inspired by you. It really, your story helps me to keep going
Oh,
as I'm, trying to build my business.
yeah,
So,
thank you.
um, but okay, so next let's focus on Divas in Paradise, which is kind of the main reason that we're here today.
Hmm.
Divas in Paradise, we started talking about right before the pandemic. We were trying to plan this trip, and of course the pandemic put a hold on a lot of things, but now we're here. And let's see what, so this is what I saw, that is what you describe as Divas in Paradise, which is a truly bespoke travel experience created by and for women of color. We curate a comfortable, safe space to openly discuss and further understand issues that affect us most. An essential element to our trips is the Sisterhood Workshop series, which aims to raise awareness, uplift, and inspire all divas who share in this experience. Our diva trips are carefully crafted to ensure you are fully exposed to the local culture, discover the exciting nooks and crannies, and just live your best life in el paraíso, in paradise. So, Jade, what does diva mean to you? That word diva. It's kind of sometimes can be not controversial, but perceived in a negative way.
Yeah, but who says it in a negative way? Mostly who? Exactly.
Men.
Um, diva
Mm-hmm.
or diva means to me somebody who holds their own and holds their own with pride and confidence. That's what it means.
Yes, I love that. I think that for example, I heard the word diva being used a lot in Brazil, and it was not a negative thing. Like women would say to each other, like to gas each other up, like cheery, uplift each other, and like, ai, que diva, você é diva. Like you're almost like you're beautiful, you're, this, you're that. And it was a way to really kind of like uplift each other. So I agree. We live in a patriarchal world, and they don't like outspoken,
Oh,
women who do things for themselves and who are, so what if you demand what you want, as long as you're not encroaching on other people's what they want, there's nothing wrong with
exactly.
doing what you want and owning that.
As long as you respect boundaries of others and know that your freedom goes up until the next person's freedom begins and you are respectful. There's nothing wrong with holding your own and wanting what you want when you want it. As long as you
Exactly. I agree. Divas. Divas. I love that. And so I also love how, how do we connect Divas in Paradise to social entrepreneurship? For me, the way that I perceive it is, the way that you provide a space for like-minded women who want to empower each other, who want to have this unique experience together abroad, outside of the normal way, right? Because, maybe, again, the patriarchal way of seeing things, oh, divas would want to be waited hand and foot at the resort, and and this and that. No, it's not always about being waited
No.
on, and I love that you provide the space to connect with like-minded women, into and just provide empowerment and support sisterhood and self-love. Can you talk a little bit more about that, all of the just kind of like the positive and social impact type of things that you do within a group of divas?
Right. So Divas is a vacation experience for a woman who wants to go on vacation, probably doesn't want to be alone, and wants to come and have a great time in paradise. It's often themed, so I often partner with different groups. So whether that be a book club or an influencer, and it's themed along the lines of either self-love or self-care. So you do a lot more focus on sort of yoga, or sometimes we have empowerment workshops, or it could be a book club where we get together and read a book, or in our case, it will be having a good time over meals and getting to know the culture and doing some cultural activities. So yeah, that is pretty much sort of, it is, I want to remove sort of the expectation or the idea that you come and you're going to be waited on hand and foot and it's 5-star. Like, that's not the experience that it is. It's not, we're not staying at a Ritz-Carlton. We're not staying in a hostel either, in between. But it's an experience where you get to immerse at the local level.
Yes, I agree with that.
Oh, I'm frozen. Oops.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Do you see me now? I
Yeah.
think I
Sorry.
kind of froze for a second. I love that. I love that, Jade. Thank you so much for sharing that. And so, can I speak a little bit about my Divas in Paradise experience with you? So, staying in Soul's Oasis, I already talked a little bit about how refreshing it was and how amazing, and the nearby beach. Oh my gosh, but your food, I need to gas you up so much. Your food is so good, and I love that you provided that as an add-on to the experience, because you have your kitchen, people can cook for themselves, to save money. But I felt that your food, not only was it economic, like it was a very decent price, and it was very economical, but it was so delicious and healthy. You were just such a healthy cook, and you're a vegetarian. So I'm not a vegetarian, but I tend to eat more vegetarian than not. I really don't eat a lot of meat. I try to keep it very minimal. And I loved how you mixed in local flavors with a little bit more vegetarian options than might be found in the overarching local culture. Because I know they eat more chicken and perhaps other staples. I loved how you might have mixed in some jerk seasoning with I don't completely remember, but with some kind of vegetables or something else to replace chicken. So, oh, Jade, I miss your food for real. It was so good. I think I'm not even kidding. I ate so much of your food, and I was so stressed about my job that I had gained, within a month, I had gained the most weight I've ever gained in my life within such a small, time frame. And when I went to, it was like, not only was it refreshing to be on your property, but I feel like it really balanced out my stress, and my cortisol, whatever was really going on. There was a complete imbalance in my body, and I just felt like your food and being there just made me, it's like I lost weight really quickly. Not saying that that'll happen for everybody, but and not saying that that's important at all. What's important is balance, and just like taking a break, resting, right? That's such an important thing to do.
And I can relate a lot to that, because when I lived in London, and I I do far more here than I ever did in London. I manage the business, I manage the construction. But there's something different about being quote unquote stressed here than in sort of the West, so to speak. It's
Yeah.
just, I might have days where there's a lot going on, but waking up every morning to greenery and just sun really makes a difference.
It really does. I'm actually very surprised. You think that in Western countries like the UK, much like the US, that you'd be hustling worse than you are now. But obviously, being a business owner in like of 3 different entities, I can see how busy you are. But I'm glad to hear that it's just different. It's a different level of
Different,
stress. It's a manageable, it sounds manageable.
yeah, yeah. It's a different kind of stress, and I'm in an environment because I think it's scientifically proven that nature calms you and can de-stress you. So when I wake up and I can see, we have some parrots that fly by, and I've got my fish now, I have my dogs, and I have the gazebo. It's just a different kind of, I don't know, it's a different kind of lifestyle. It is a lot less heavy, I will say that. There's some
Yeah.
concrete.
Yeah. Something that you cannot get at a resort, right? Because resorts, sure, I'm not saying that they don't provide rest and relaxation of sorts, but they don't have the amount of greenery your property does. They don't have the amount of like isolation from so many people too. Like
Yeah,
I'm truly a traveler. I do not like to be around a lot of foreigners.
yeah,
I don't like to be, especially like Americans. Like I did not leave the US to be around more Americans. I usually I want to be around the most locals that I can. And I did feel like I got that experience on your property. So what else? I talked about how I was working from home. I mean, I almost worked from home I was there for a week.
yeah.
I
That was
almost worked from home like 4 out of the 5 weekdays that I was there. And it was so nice and comfortable. Sometimes I worked outside, sometimes inside, depending on whatever I wanted. A couple of the excursions I was able to make, since my job didn't really allow me to do much, but the Duns River waterfall, my goodness, that was so fun. Again, refreshing. You get to experience both the beach in that area, and then you walk all the way down to the beach, and then you walk up the waterfall, which is super fun. So then you get both the benefits of being in the salty water of the beach and then the fresh water of the waterfall. So I loved that. It was like it wasn't like super, like it sounds like waterfall, climbing a waterfall sounds really intense.
no,
No, it was really easy. It was light exercise for sure, which I of course love. I like to hike and I like to go on walks. So I felt like it was like perfect light exercise. What else? Oh, we spent a lot of time, since your property is in Ora Cabeza. We spent a lot of time in Ocho Rios. I just love how your Ora Cabeza and Ocho Rios, like those are Spanish sounding names, or well, Ocho Rios
they were.
especially. They were.
Yeah, so Jamaica was colonized by the Spanish up until the 6th century, the 1600s, and then the British took over. So that's why we have.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. So are there other parts of the island with a lot of Spanish sounding names? Or
Yes.
is it mostly that part where you live?
No, there's other parts. There's quite a few Spanish names. Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'll talk to you about that later. I did not know that. So, but yeah, Ocho Rios was nice to just, because Ora Cabeza is a little bit more. I love how it's kind of more, I wouldn't say completely isolated, but just a lot less busyness going around.
Oh,
And so if
yeah.
if you want to do a little bit of shopping, you want to go to a restaurant, or you want to see a lot of local Jamaicans, I loved going to Ocho Rios to do that. And then Kingston, we went to the Bob Marley Museum, which was so much fun. We then went and stayed at the top of the mountain right outside of Kingston to climb the Blue Mountain. That was like an 18-mile walk that I did with Carolina. And oh my goodness, like I don't usually do that long of hikes. It was quite a
Yeah.
feat for me. I felt very accomplished after that hike. And we got up at 2 a.m. to do that. And afterwards, we got back at like 9 a.m. for the breakfast. Oh, and I think the location that we stayed at was like a hostel, right?
Yeah.
Run by
Yeah.
Rastas.
He calls it a cabin, but yeah, more
Oh,
like
it's considered a cabin.
yeah.
Okay. And yeah, they had no electricity.
Yeah.
And I liked that. I even if just for one night, like I just like to try to get away because it's hard. It's hard to get away. You know, I don't usually want to be away from internet, but just one day, you know, it doesn't kill you and it's so beneficial. And you see the way you can see the stars at night because you're away from all the light and all the electricity, you know. So I loved that. And just the exercise, like I said, like I honestly can't believe I did 18 miles. I almost didn't make it in the morning. It was actually harder for me in the morning to go all the way up than it's always easier for me to go down. It's
Yeah.
really hard for me to go up. So I was struggling in the morning. The morning was like, I can do this. I can do it. And then when I did, it's like, yes. So proud of myself. Let's see, but I think, oh, and then of course, how can I forget my favorite part of my Divas experience with you was working with Goose to Fly. My goodness, he is a local dance instructor, choreographer, award-winning dancer in dance hall and local Jamaican styles. That was just amazing. That one kind of happened out of nowhere. Carolina is, you know, my friend who attended with me. She's a dancer, as am I, and we said, Jade, can we want to learn some dance hall? We want to learn some local flavors. We're dancers, and you just said, okay, let me make my magic work, and you made it work. So we're so grateful for that experience. And hopefully, if we have no issues with technology, Carolina can join. Unfortunately, she did. Oh no, she did join. Okay, good. Oh, maybe is this a perfect time? Let's see if she can join now. Here she is. Okay, I just invited her so she can talk a little bit about it, but while she's connecting, um, well, let's talk a little bit about the Latinas in Paradise trip. So we're offering that for Thursday, November 24th to Sunday, November 27th, which is during the Thanksgiving holiday, which a lot of people are like, why during that? You know, a lot of people don't really like to um, a lot of people think holidays are hard. You know, even if you love your family, holidays can be hard. You want to like relax, you want to get away from your family. Hi, Carolina.
Hello, I'm here at work.
Thank you for joining
As you can
us.
see, a full dance studio.
Like we said, dancers, dance live. Thank you for joining us. Let me just finish my thought, and then we'll ask you, Carolina, a couple of questions. But so yes, this trip is planned for 3 nights and 4 days during the Thanksgiving holiday. A lot of people like to get away for the holiday. They don't really, you know, it's hard to be with family sometimes. Thanksgiving isn't perhaps as important to a lot of people like Christmas is. And also it is a cheap time to travel. It's super cheap, especially abroad. It's not as cheap within the US because everyone's trying to go home or whatever, but to go up, not a lot of people are going abroad. including the fact that, you know, in the US, especially amongst, I would say, communities of color are very, very aware of, you know, speaking on the realities of what Thanksgiving means. And, you know, it's a problematic holiday. It is a problematic holiday. You know, sure, maybe there's like the spirit of it could be nice, but because of the history of how Native Americans have been treated in this country, it's hard not to talk about those realities. And a lot of people get, you know, especially you know, there are people who get so offended about these topics, but you know, we invite people who are not afraid to talk about the realities and who want to get away and be around like-minded people who are not afraid to talk about the truth of what Thanksgiving is. So anyways, we will get back to talking a little bit more about the trip, but first we have a special guest who joined us, Carolina. As I had mentioned earlier about our dance class with Goose, Carolina had an amazing experience. So Carolina, could you please share a little bit about what you loved about your trip? And then we will talk a little bit more deeply about your experience with Goose at Jade's property, and then what happened after, which is the most exciting part. So the floor is yours.
So I was able to be part of this trip. Thank you for like showing us this beautiful place. It's one of my most amazing experience. It was paradise to me. It was beautiful to see that sea, that clear sea. It's the clearest sea I've ever seen. The calmest sea I've ever been. I could swim in that sea, and that was beautiful to me. Being able to swim in a sea, it's so calm, so comfortable. I also enjoyed so much the house. The house was beautiful. It's a dream house. So much natural light. The meals, oh my gosh, the meals were amazing. Each meal was delicious and healthy. How is that possible? So each meal was like a discovery. Each meal was so balanced, which for me is very important to have like a balanced way of eating, even if I am on vacation. That way I don't lose energy and I can still enjoy vacation with my full energy. So those meals I really enjoyed having, like also that Jade was so kind of having vegetarian options for me.
Yeah.
So she would do chicken for some people, which she would do I forgot the name, berenjena.
Eggplant.
Eggplant, jerk eggplant.
Yeah.
It was
I don't like
and
eggplant.
also
Your eggplant was good. It
No,
was so
it was
good.
Jerk season, and it just
the
transfers.
pineapple.
Oh,
The
Oh, that's what
pineapple.
you seasoned with jerk. Now
Sorry?
I remember.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Put a
So
little
good.
So
thing on your pineapple, jerk season, and then just fry it off. It's the one.
My mouth is
I
watering.
also really liked feeling like so welcomed, in the sense that if we needed like a driver, it was easy. Jade would help us finding a driver that would drive us even far to Kingston, drive us to the airport, and from the airport. I really liked that Jade had the time to uh, create this special like tours for us, so that way we can enjoy, but not enjoy in so much a touristic way. Also, I felt like I was spending most of my time with locals, and I really like that I felt that I was giving back to the community because also the driver was from Jamaica. The tours were the people from the tours were Jamaicans. And I really appreciate that. That it's not only, okay, let's have a tour and let's enjoy this beautiful place without giving back to the people of origin. So I really appreciate the fact that we had that in some sense because it was good for us, but the responsibility with the community of origin. And I appreciate that as a traveler, which is very important for me as a cultural dancer. Mm, I also enjoy so much the rivers, those deep rivers. Like I could jump in those rivers from high rocks and feel safe still. And it was challenging. I really like hiking so much. I can spend my days hiking and after the hike, just go down to the river. It was so beautiful as well. Also seeing the sea connecting to a river was a very pretty experience, and just swimming on that sea. I already said it, but you have to go and swim on that sea because normally I'm not a beach person. I don't like the beach, but I really like the sensation of I could go into the sea. It felt clean.
Yeah.
It felt
What's going
safe.
Yeah.
I care about those things, and I know someone that is like taking a lot of sun, and I avoid it so much. Even I use umbrella on summer, so I really like the fact that I felt comfortable on at the beach because it had so much nature. Like to me, the contrast of seeing like these trees and seeing right next to the beach, it didn't feel like a normal beach. It's a place I've never been
Tropical. Yeah.
before. So, and I don't know other beach like that yet. So I really enjoyed the scenery. As a Colombian, I really enjoyed the coffee land. I was like, I am at home. I felt at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going to the mountains, and I grew up in the middle of the mountains. I miss my mountains so much because from my city I see mountains all around, and going to the coffee land and seeing the same trees, the same smells, feeling like I am in Jamaica, but also this feels like Colombia. It was very nice. The Rastas selling you coffee in the middle of the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
The view of the sunrise
Yeah.
was so pretty, and also just staying in a cabin where I felt disconnected from the normal world, and I had the time to feel connected to myself. Like just sit down and relax and meet people from the area. One of my experiences was also that I like cooking a lot, and I started going into the kitchen because a family were cooking in the kitchen of the cabin. And I had the opportunity to talk with the locals, and they were teaching me from the locals. People pay for this, but I was just talking with this family. What are you making? And they were showing me the recipe, everything. And at the end, they give me a plate of what they were making without me asking. I was just curious about the cuisine. So the locals are very nice.
Yeah.
The locals are so nice, are so welcoming. They feel so proud of their culture, and they want to share it with you. Uh, and I felt safe and welcomed, and I really liked that sensation of going to a warmer country, in not only in the sense of a warmer country in terms of the weather, but in terms of the culture, because sometimes as a Latina and as a person from the tropic, I feel like culture here in the United States can be too cold and too isolated. And going to Jamaica was refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, thank you
Yeah.
And
so
of
much.
course, Goose.
Yes,
Oh my
Goose.
God.
Best part
I
of
love
what came
Goose.
out of the trip.
Goose, if you are seeing this video, I love you, my friend.
We love you. We love you, Goose.
He did a class earlier, so I will. Yeah, I should have told him. I don't know why that slipped me.
Oh yeah, we didn't even think of that. I'll send him this video though. Maybe
Yeah.
another time we can interview him. But yes, tell the story, Carolina. It was so much fun, and it was all because it was your idea that, you know, to take the class, and Jade made it happen.
And made it happen with one of the best, with the champion of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So lucky. We are so lucky. And well, which is story that he went to my country.
Yeah.
Mhm,
That after
mhm.
the trip, you connected with him, and then he came to maybe.
Yeah,
Well,
we
but
kept
hold on,
talking.
back up. You took, Carolina, you originally took 3 classes with him that week, or 4
No, it was
while
4.
we
I
were there?
took classes like for like 4 days, every day, like 2 hours. I had the time, and he's such a passionate dancer.
Mhm.
And it was so nice finding someone that respects dance in the way that he's professional, he's punctual, and the only thing he cares is about giving you a good experience as a dancer. And I appreciate that. So he's an amazing colleague. And I was taking class. The space is amazing to take classes, like the
Oh,
humidity, but at the same time, the air is fresh. Jamaica has a
outside.
particular smell,
Yes.
and I really like how Jamaica smells.
Yeah,
And there is nowhere in the world that it smells like that.
yeah.
So that's as well. And also, what else can I say? Yeah, so I took classes with him. We were talking about dance. His classes were very good, and we kept in contact. And he went to Colombia, to Medellin, Colombia, on February. We went to Colombia for a family trip. He was there with us. He taught a master class for my sister's dance company, Danza Hair, in Medellin, Colombia. And there were like more than 20 dancers with him. And he stayed at home. This master class went like, it was 4 hours, like back to back. We ended up with a choreography. We took videos, and it was just amazing. And he was able to also enjoy our culture.
Yeah.
He went to a river in our state. He enjoyed our music. He went to concerts, to Colombian music concerts. He went to in a special bus we have. It's called Chiva, and it's colorful. So that's how we went to the river. He has pictures of it. He told me that was the craziest ride he ever had in a bus, but
Shiva's
he
all right.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Uh, And he was even in my niece's party for her graduation from university. So he was part of the family for a week, and also the dance hall community from Medellin contacted him because they saw that he was in Comuna 13, in one of the most important neighborhoods from our city. He was there, and we would dance together, and we made a reel which has like almost 5,000 views, of course, because it's good. and And this reached to the dancehall community in Medellin, and they called him, "Hey, we are having a get together. We are so humbled that you are here. We are so honored that you are here." And they invited him to the dancehall community in our city, and they did a video with two important dancers. One of these dancers is now in Turkey working as a professional dancer.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, before going to Turkey, I really need to take classes with you and create this video. And they were rehearsing like for 2 days or for 1 or 2 days. They took the video and they released it in their Instagram.
Wow.
So everything was so amazing. And in this gather together, like there were like more than 20 people as well, like almost 30 people just doing dancehall, improvising. And I didn't know, even a person from Medellin, that dancehall community was so big in my city. And there were Venezuelans and Colombians in this gathering. So he is planning also to go there at the end of the year to Colombia. So probably we will be able to see Christmas in Colombia,
Yeah.
hopefully.
That's awesome. And this is just another example of how, through a Divas in Paradise trip, sure, we didn't go as volunteers, but like the spirit of V2 volunteers still like it, and I don't even think, like we just didn't participate as volunteers. So it's just amazing to me that this came out of our experience. And Carolina had the idea of, inviting him with her family, and the collaboration and the amazing magic that came out of that. And I'm sure provided lots of contacts for Goose to do stuff in the future, so yeah. I love that. I love that the spirit of V2 impacted a Divas in Paradise trip. Thank you so much, Carolina, for sharing. We are at the top of the hour. It is 9 p.m. So I do think we should finish up with just finalizing a little bit about the trip in November this year. Jade, do you want to talk a little bit about what's included, what activities are going to happen?
Yeah, so I think the trip is 3 nights and 4 days. And the dates are from the 24th to the 27th of November this year. So that is the Thanksgiving weekend, but we're going to call it Friendsgiving weekend.
Friendsgiving.
So what's included is your airport transportations from Stansted International, so that'll be Montego Bay. Your accommodation, which is a shared room with an in-suite shower room, continental breakfast, the Friendsgiving dinner the day that you arrive, welcome cocktails, obviously, and 24-hour support. Then we have an itinerary, which is all about relaxing, exploring the natural beauty of Jamaica, but also immersing into the culture. So the first day, as I said, will be all about the food, which will be Caribbean infused. And also, because I grew up in Bolivia and Ecuador, I always kind of tend to bring some dishes and fuse them up with Caribbean foods. So the next day, we will do some yoga by the sea. That's always a good way to start your vacation, by just grounding yourself and trying to transport yourself here and just, preparing for the next few days and switching off. Then we're going to go on a jungle trek to a waterfall, which is what you did, Carol, when you jumped. And then after that, you sort of have a free evening/night to yourselves. And then the next morning, we're going to get Goose Too Cool to come and do some dance classes. I don't know if it's known or people know that dancehall is sort of the precursor to reggaeton. So once you do the class, you'll kind of see and hear rhythms that leads to reggaeton. Then after that, we'll head to Green Grotto and Luminous Lagoon. Now, this is a highlight because Luminous Lagoon is a lake that at night, once you move the water lights up. So it's bioluminescent algae that lights up by
Beautiful.
and that is only available in a few parts of the world, I think, including Puerto Rico. So that's something that if you're into nature and into those one-in-a-lifetime experiences, that's the one. And then the next day, unfortunately, is departure, but you will go with a Caribbean breakfast. And we'll drop you back to the airport. If you want to stay extra nights, that's a discussion that we can have. Just get in touch. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Jade. I'm so excited for this trip. You know, thank you so much, Carolina, for sharing your unique experience. You know,
Of
I'm
course.
so lucky and so grateful to know such inspiring women like you ladies, leaders in your communities, empowering women. And that is exactly what we want for this Diva trip to be. A group, a sisterhood of empowering women, like-minded women to relax in paradise. Thank you so much, ladies. Gracias. Muchísimas gracias. Nos vemos pronto.
Ciao. Oh, Goose just.
Ciao.
Goose! Oh my gosh, can we get him on?
Goose.
Goose, can we get you on, Goose? Oh, if we can get him on, we're gonna invite him.
Yeah.
Let's see if
So I'm going to say bye. That way Goose can come in.
Bye, let's see if he gets on. If he doesn't, I just invited him. Hold on. Let's see. We didn't prepare him, so maybe he's not even dressed or like prepared for.
I don't know if he's. No?
I don't think so. I just invited him twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
no,
you so much, Jade.
Okay,
it was amazing seeing you.
Oh,
Ale,
Bye.
kisses.
okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.